Okay, the other thing I told you could do is try to make an axonometric out of this. So let's see if we can do that. I'm going to open up a new file and I'm just going to make it double the size. So I'm going to do 11 by 17. And yeah, I want it in portrait orientation. So this is good. Just close this one. And now I'm going to duplicate my layers into that file again. So I'm going to take all of these, including my plan background, and duplicate those into my new file. And I'll save this one right now as planting Axo. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is resize all of these so that they fit on the page. And I'm just going to make them a little bit smaller than they need to be. Then I'm going to rotate them by 45 degrees. Actually, I'll do it 30 degrees like this. I'm going to drag everything down here, and starting with my background layer, I'm going to deselect the background, which is the line work, and I'm going to drag this up until I have some separation between these and I can kind of understand them being pulled apart from each other. I'll remove the planting areas from my selection, and then I will drag the next layer up so that there is some separation. Hopefully you're a good guess and you can do a pretty good estimation of how far you need to drag it up. Put my bloom on, drag it up again. All right, so I don't even have room on this page, so oops. I might have to expand the canvas a little bit. But this is a really fast way to do an exploded axonometric, and this will show you all the different layers of your planting plan pulled apart so that they're a little easier to understand. This might be even better than stacking them together as a rendered plan. Now, if you wanted to go through, maybe as you drew, you did a legend for each one, so you would have the legends associated with each one. Maybe you have all of the green areas outlined and all the bloom areas outlined, just like this legend down here. But if not, you could always export this into InDesign or Illustrator and add labels. I'm going to be a little bit lazy and just use the pen tool to do some exploded axo lines and some quick labels. First, I'm just going to pull these apart a little bit more. I'm going to press P for the pen tool, and I am going to draw a line from this corner here up to this corner here, which is the first match point. And then I am going to just press M to get back to my selection tool, or sorry, V to get back to my selection tool. And then I'm going to press B for brush. This is a little bit complicated. It's weird how you do lines in Photoshop. So I'm going to make sure that my foreground is on black because I want my lines to be black. And I'm going to set my brush to a hardness of 100% and a pixel size of maybe 2. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to P, and I'm going to right click on this and go stroke path. And the tool I'm going to use to stroke the path is the brush tool, which I just set to 2% and hard. I'm going to uncheck simulate pressure and go OK. And then if I escape twice, then you see that there's a line left which has the properties of the brush tool. So it's 2 pixels high and hard. Now, there's no way to do, as far as I know, there's no way to do dashed lines in Photoshop. So you would have to kind of guess if you were going to do that. And you might do that by doing an eraser, turning it all the way up, and then maybe just kind of eliminating some of these lines. Oh, it's not working. Oh, I didn't have my eraser selected for some reason. This is a very not good way of doing it. I'm just doing it to show you that you could annotate this further and turn it into kind of a cool drawing. All right, so let's pretend that that's our properly dashed line. And then I'm just going to move my layers over a smidge just so that they line up with that. And now I could take this, I did it on a layer mask. Okay, so I could take this line and duplicate it. I'm just pressing down Alt while pulling this across. Now these red or pink guides are really annoying. How you get rid of those is just press Control H, and that's going to turn off all the guides. So now I can drag this around with no guides in place. So I can duplicate this again. I'm going to just do that by pressing Control J, or sorry, just pressing Alt while dragging. And you could keep going with this with your main base points. So I can take all of these lines. I'm actually just going to join them all together so that they're one group of lines, and press Alt and Shift and drag those up to the next layer. And if I wanted to really make these precise, then I would take my my next layer and I would match it up to the top of the line so that I know it's perfectly aligned with the right height. And you could keep doing that with all of the other layers. Okay, once you pulled apart that as an axo, then you can add a new layer. And honestly, this would be better done in Illustrator or InDesign, but just for the sake of time, so that I don't have to switch programs, I'm going to do it here. And now you could begin to talk about the different layers. So we have the tree canopy layer. Why is my text green? I don't know. And you might note below what is in this. I can't remember exactly what was in mine. I think it was a mixture of birch trees and aspen trees. But yeah, you could put in some of your species down here. I would make them a little bit not bold, maybe light. Duplicating this down here and just pressing T for text. And now I can select everything and do my seasonal bloom. And then you would list all your plants down here, and then you could keep going with this, with your labels. So I think this shows how one set of hand drawings that are all properly layered can actually add up to something that's very telling and very instructive about your approach, and also gives you a good tool for discussion as you bring your sketches to class, so that you're not just kind of wasting time by drawing things over and over again, but you use layers to build things up on different pieces of paper. That way you can really think about them in different layers and think about the different planting, the different structural planting types, like what is giving shade to the things below, what has color, what doesn't have color, what is the base. So I hope that's been helpful, and let me know if you have any questions.